Have you ever felt this way? You eat healthy, you choose fruit over sweets. You stretch in the morning, you go for walks, you do everything right, but still, your legs feel heavier. Getting up from a chair takes longer. Climbing stairs feels like climbing a hill. You wonder why. Is it just aging, or is something quietly working against your body? Here's what might surprise you. It's not your habits. It's not your effort. It's something you've been doing every day without knowing the damage it causes. Fruit, yes, the very thing you've trusted for decades. Colorful, juicy, natural, the symbol of a healthy diet. But not all fruits are harmless, especially after 60. Some fruits, common ones you eat without thinking, may slowly weaken your legs, stiffen your joints, and drain your strength. No warnings, no sharp pain, just a slow fade, until one day you can't move like you used to. You're not alone. Thousands of older adults experience this same quiet decline, and most never suspect the bowl of fruit on their kitchen counter. That doesn't mean fruit is bad, but it does mean this. After 60, your body changes, and what once helped you might now be quietly hurting you. If you've ever felt your legs go numb after sitting, if you've ever struggled with a step you used to take easily, if you fear losing your balance or your independence, then keep reading. Because the truth about fruit might be exactly what your body has been waiting to hear. Not all fruit is good for you, especially after 60. One of the biggest health myths we carry into old age is this: if it's natural, it must be good. And fruit? Fruit is the ultimate symbol of natural health. Rich in vitamins, full of fiber, trusted by doctors and loved by families. You've been told your whole life that fruit keeps you strong, keeps you young, keeps you clean from the inside out. And most of it, yes, it's true. Most fruit is good. But here's what almost no one tells you. Your body after 60 is not the same body you had at 30. Everything changes. Blood vessels become more fragile. Sugar is harder to process. Acids don't break down as easily. Inflammation lingers longer. And your metabolism slows down, whether you want it to or not. So what does that mean? It means that some fruits that are perfectly healthy for younger people can quietly harm older adults. Not because the fruit changed, but because your body did. You won't notice it right away. There's no sharp pain, no emergency symptoms, just a quiet decline. Maybe your knees ache a bit more after breakfast. Maybe your legs feel tired halfway up the stairs. Maybe you've stopped walking as far as you used to, without even realizing it. And all the while, the thing making it worse is sitting in your fridge, in that bright, colorful bowl you prepared with care every morning. The very thing you thought was helping you stay healthy. Nobody warned you, because nobody thinks of pineapple, bananas, grapes, or mangoes as dangerous. They're fruits. They're sweet. They're natural. But when eaten too often, at the wrong time, or in the wrong way, they can quietly speed up the loss of strength, balance, and mobility. There's no loud alarm, just a slow weakening, until one day it becomes hard to stand, to walk, to feel confident on your own 2 feet. So before you take your next bite, know this isn't about fearing fruit. It's about learning which ones support your strength and which ones might be slowly taking it away. A fruit praised for healing, but quietly weakening your legs. You've probably heard good things about pineapple. It's tropical, refreshing, full of an enzyme called bromelain that's often praised for reducing inflammation. Sounds healthy. And for younger adults, it often is. But after 60, your body no longer handles certain foods the same way. That includes pineapple, especially when eaten often or in large amounts. Let's break it down. First, pineapple is packed with natural sugar. It may not taste overwhelmingly sweet, but inside, it delivers a rapid spike in blood sugar. For aging blood vessels, especially the small ones feeding your legs and feet, this is a problem. Each spike damages circulation a little more. Less oxygen reaches your legs, muscles tire faster, and you may begin to notice that familiar dull ache in your calves, even after a short walk. You may not connect it to what you ate. You might blame the weather, or aging, or an old injury, but sometimes it's just a few slices of pineapple. Then comes the second issue, acidity. Pineapple is naturally acidic, much more than most fruits. And if you already struggle with joint pain, arthritis, or stiffness, this acid can act like fuel on a smoldering fire. Many people feel a strange heaviness in their knees after eating pineapple. Others say their ankles swell or burn slightly hours later, without any clear reason. And here's something few people realize. Bromelain, while beneficial in small amounts, can interact with medications, especially blood thinners. It may either increase the effect of the drug, making you bruise easily or bleed more, or weaken it, reducing its protective benefits. But the most dangerous thing about pineapple? It doesn't cause an obvious reaction. There's no rash, no fever, no sharp pain, just slow, creeping fatigue, a little more soreness, a little less strength. Until one day, walking feels like work and your legs no longer feel like they belong to you. Pineapple isn't toxic, but it may no longer be your friend, especially if you're struggling with leg pain, swelling, or balance issues. You don't need to fear it, just be aware. Take a break from it for a few weeks. Watch how your body responds. Sometimes, what feels healthy on the surface is quietly stealing your strength from underneath. Soft, sweet, full of potassium, but not as innocent as it seems. Bananas have long had a glowing reputation. They're soft, convenient, and high in potassium, something we're told is good for our hearts, our muscles, and especially for preventing leg cramps. And that's true for some people. But if you're over 60, the story shifts. Let's start with the obvious. Bananas are sweet. Not candy sweet, but sweet enough. What most people don't realize is that bananas are loaded with simple carbohydrates and fast-acting sugars. When you eat one, your blood sugar rises quickly, and your body, which may already be less responsive to insulin, struggles to handle the spike. The result? Circulation slows, inflammation rises, legs feel heavy after meals, calves stiffen during short walks. Climbing stairs starts to feel like lifting weights. You think, maybe I'm just tired today. But it happens again and again. Here's the deeper issue. Bananas also promote water retention, especially in people with heart conditions or sluggish kidneys. That puffiness around your ankles, that slight swelling in your feet by evening, that tightness in your knees that comes out of nowhere. Bananas might be playing a part. The tricky thing is, they don't feel like a problem. They're soft, easy to chew, easy to digest. They feel like comfort food. And that's what makes them hard to question. But imagine this. You eat a banana mid-morning. By mid-afternoon, your legs feel tired, your shoes feel tighter, and your body seems to be moving just a bit slower. You assume it's aging, but what if it's something you're eating that's quietly working against you? Many older adults eat bananas daily, sometimes even twice a day, because we're told potassium helps muscles. But no one tells you too much sugar and excess starch can cancel out that benefit and leave your body inflamed, swollen, and unbalanced. This doesn't mean you must give up bananas forever, but it does mean you need to watch how your body reacts. Try going without them for 10 days. Notice your legs, your knees, your energy. Sometimes the most friendly foods are the ones quietly slowing you down. They look harmless, but what they do inside your body might surprise you. Grapes are small, juicy, easy to snack on. They feel light. They taste refreshing. They're even called heart healthy because of their antioxidants. So what could possibly be wrong with grapes? The problem isn't what you see. It's what happens after they're digested. Grapes are packed with fructose, a type of sugar that goes straight to your liver. And when your liver gets more fructose than it can handle, it turns it into fat and something else, uric acid. That's when the trouble begins. Uric acid builds up silently. It hides in the joints, in your toes, your ankles, your knees. Then one day, you feel it. A dull burning in your big toe. An ache in your knees after sitting. A strange swelling in your ankles that lingers longer than usual. You wonder if you bumped something, or if it's just part of aging. But behind the scenes, uric acid is rising, and grapes may be feeding it. It doesn't take a lot, just a handful here. A few more after dinner. They're so small, it's easy to overeat, and the sugar adds up fast. For older adults, that means more inflammation, more pressure inside the joints, slower recovery after walking, and more stiffness in the mornings. You may even notice that your knees crack more often, or that walking downhill feels strangely uncomfortable. That's not coincidence. Grapes are also tricky because they feel so safe. You can hold them in one hand. You don't need to peel or cut. They feel effortless. But ease comes with a cost. And for people over 60, too many grapes can slowly drain comfort from your joints. This doesn't mean you have to cut them out forever. But if you're dealing with joint pain, stiffness, or random swelling, Try removing grapes for 2 weeks. See how you feel. You might be surprised how much lighter your steps become, because sometimes the smallest things cause the biggest shifts in your body. It looks like water, but it acts like sugar. Watermelon feels like the safest fruit on earth. It's light, juicy, full of water, perfect for summer, perfect for hydration, or so it seems. You see, most people look at watermelon and think, it's just water with a little sweetness. How bad could it be? But inside that bright red flesh is a sugar bomb wrapped in refreshment. Let's talk about the glycemic index, a number that shows how fast a food spikes your blood sugar. Watermelon? It ranks high, very high, almost like candy. When you eat it, your blood sugar doesn't rise gently, it surges. For someone younger, the body might absorb that sugar and recover quickly. But for people over 60, that spike can be damaging, especially to the legs. Why? Because every sugar surge pushes insulin levels up, and when insulin is constantly elevated, inflammation increases, circulation decreases, fluid builds up. And where does all that show first? In your legs. Ankles puff up, calves feel sore or tight after a walk, climbing stairs becomes tiring, joints feel heavy, even without movement. You don't suspect the watermelon. After all, it's water, it's fruit, it feels clean. But the truth is, it behaves more like dessert. And it's so refreshing that it's easy to overeat. One slice turns into two, then three, then half a plate. And suddenly, you've consumed more sugar than a can of soda without realizing it. Without realizing it. There's also another layer, because the body sees sugar as energy, but when you're not using that energy right away, it stores it as fat, or worse, turns it into inflammation. That's why some people feel sluggish after eating watermelon, why their knees swell up later that night, or why they wake up with stiffness that wasn't there the day before. It doesn't mean watermelon is evil, but it isn't neutral, not after a certain age. If your legs feel heavy, if your ankles swell, if your morning walks are getting shorter, try skipping watermelon for a few days. Replace it with berries or cucumber. See how your body responds, because hydration is important, but not at the cost of your strength. They promise vitamin C, but deliver more than you bargained for. There's something comforting about oranges, their scent, their color, their reputation. Oranges are everywhere. In juices, breakfast spreads, immune-boosting drinks. They're often the first thing people reach for when trying to be healthy. And it's true. Oranges offer vitamin C. They support the immune system. They're light, refreshing, and easy to love. But here's what no one talks about, especially when it comes to aging joints. Citrus fruits are acidic, and while that acid might not bother a 30-year-old body, it can aggravate inflammation in a 65-year-old one. Here's what that means. If you're already dealing with some stiffness in your knees or a mild ache in your hips when you get out of bed, the acid from oranges can quietly make it worse. You won't feel it right away. It doesn't burn like spicy food. It doesn't sting, but it seeps in. And in people with arthritis, joint sensitivity, or past injuries, it irritates the soft tissues that cushion your joints. You might notice stiffness that lingers after sitting, a nagging soreness in your hips or knees, swelling that comes and goes, a heaviness in your legs, especially in the morning. Most people never blame the orange, because oranges are supposed to help, right? But remember, your body is not reacting to the same things the way it used to. And there's another hidden layer. Oranges contain natural sugars that can swing your blood sugar levels, especially when consumed alone, like in juice form. That combination of sugar and acid? For many older adults, it creates an inflammatory storm. Subtle, persistent, and easy to overlook. You keep drinking your morning orange juice, thinking it helps. But each day, your legs feel just a little stiffer, and your walks feel just a little heavier. This isn't about cutting out oranges forever. But if you're dealing with unexplained pain, swelling, or stiffness, take a break. Try skipping citrus for a week or two. Replace it with something gentler, like papaya or berries. Then listen to your body. It's wiser than you think. And sometimes it's just waiting for you to stop feeding the fire. They look clean and healthy, but they're not always kind to aging bodies. Green apples carry a certain image. They're tart, they're crisp, they feel fresh, clean, and low in sugar. If red apples are sweet and indulgent, green apples seem like the smart choice, the healthier option. But for aging joints and sensitive digestion, they're not always as innocent as they look. Here's why. Green apples get their tangy flavor from malic acid, a natural compound that can irritate sensitive tissues, especially when your gut lining and joints aren't as resilient as they used to be. Malic acid isn't dangerous, but in an aging body, it can cause subtle discomfort, the kind that builds slowly and doesn't go away quickly. You might feel a tightness in your knees after sitting, a dull ache in your hips that comes and goes, a strange heat or pressure in your legs, even without activity. These aren't signs of a major injury. They're signs of low-grade inflammation, often triggered by everyday foods. And here's the second piece. Even though green apples taste less sweet, they still contain natural sugars that affect blood sugar levels. For older adults with slower metabolism, those sugars can lead to energy crashes, water retention, and swelling, especially when eaten alone or on an empty stomach. Many people snack on green apples thinking they're doing the right thing, but then wonder why they feel more stiff at night or why their knees feel locked in the morning. It's easy to miss the connection. After all, apples have been called nature's perfect food. But perfect for who? The truth is, what's perfect for a 25-year-old body isn't always ideal for someone in their 60s or 70s. That doesn't mean green apples are bad, but it does mean you should observe how your body responds. Try skipping them for a week. Choose something gentler, like a few slices of pear or some cooked fruit with cinnamon. Notice your joints. Notice your sleep. Notice how you move when you wake up. Because health isn't just about what looks good on a plate. It's about what actually feels good in your body. It tastes like summer, but it may be stirring up pain deep inside your body. There's something joyful about mangoes. They're soft, juicy, sweet in a way that feels comforting. They taste like sunshine, like dessert without the guilt. Mangoes are loved around the world, especially in hot weather, especially when we want something that feels natural, light, and refreshing. But here's the thing. Mango is one of the highest sugar fruits you can eat. Not just sweet, but concentrated sweet. And that sweetness can hit your body like a wave, especially if you're over 60. When you eat mango, your blood sugar rises quickly. The body releases insulin to respond. But with age, insulin becomes less efficient. It lingers longer. It causes more inflammation, and that inflammation often shows up in your joints. You may notice a warm, tingling sensation in your toes, stiffness in your knees when standing up, swelling in your feet by evening, a creeping heaviness in your legs throughout the day. And yet, mango doesn't feel like a problem. It feels natural. It feels light. But that's the illusion, because what feels light to the mouth can be heavy for the body, especially when the sugar in mangoes keeps triggering inflammation that hides in your joints, in your hips, your knees, your ankles. And over time, that inflammation erodes strength. It makes walking slower. It makes balance harder. It makes you feel older than you are. Another challenge? Mango is easy to overeat. Because it's soft and sweet, a few slices become a whole bowl. A whole bowl becomes a daily habit. And the more sugar you give your body, the more your joints pay the price. This doesn't mean you can never enjoy mango again. But if you're living with joint pain, swelling, or reduced mobility, take a break. Even just 10 days. See how your body feels. You might be surprised at how quickly things change. Because sometimes the foods that bring you joy on the outside are quietly stealing comfort from the inside. Some fruits don't just nourish you. They help you walk stronger, move easier, and feel lighter. After hearing all of that, you might be wondering, so what's left? If even fruit can hurt me, what can I safely eat? That's a fair question. And the answer is better than you think. Because just as there are fruits that silently work against you, there are others that do the opposite. They protect your joints, improve your circulation, and gently heal you from the inside out. Let's talk about them. 1. Berries. Blueberries. Raspberries. Blackberries. Small, colorful, and packed with antioxidants. They're naturally low in sugar and known for their anti-inflammatory properties. These little fruits support healthy blood flow, especially to the legs and extremities. They help reduce swelling, combat stiffness, and keep you light on your feet. If you've been feeling achy, try replacing your usual fruit with a handful of berries. Your joints will thank you. 2. Cherries, in moderation. Tart cherries, in particular, are known for lowering uric acid, the very substance that contributes to gout and joint pain. A small portion can help calm inflammation, especially in the knees, ankles, and toes. But moderation is key. Just a few, not a bowl. 3. Avocado. Yes, it's technically a fruit, and one of the best for aging joints. Rich in healthy fats, avocado helps reduce inflammation, lubricate joints, and support stable blood sugar. It also helps the body absorb fat-soluble vitamins, which means better nourishment where you need it most. Try half an avocado with a meal. It fills you up and keeps you steady. 4. Papaya. This soft, tropical fruit is rich in enzymes that help digestion and naturally reduce inflammation in the gut and joints. Gentle on sensitive stomachs, supportive for aching hips, and surprisingly effective when eaten regularly. 5. Pears with fiber or protein. Pears have a sweet, clean taste, but they release sugar slowly, especially when eaten with a bit of fiber or protein. They provide energy without spikes, and they're especially good for reducing that late-day fatigue in the legs. The point is this: you don't have to give up fruit. You just have to choose the ones that love you back. Because the right fruits don't inflame you. They restore you. They don't weigh down your legs. They carry you forward with energy, balance, and less pain. You'll know you're choosing right when your steps feel lighter, your mornings feel easier, and your body feels like it's finally working with you, not against you. You made it to the end. That tells me something important. You care deeply about your health. You're not afraid to learn. And most importantly, you haven't given up on feeling better. That matters more than you know. So as you move forward, don't forget this simple truth. A small shift in what you eat can lead to a big shift in how you move, how you rest, and how you feel in your own skin. You're not too old to change. You're not too far gone to heal. Your legs, your joints, your energy, they're all still listening. Now, feed them something worth responding to.